Well, we welcome back Board President of GRF, Larry Souza, today. Yesterday, they had their monthly May meeting, or their monthly meeting for May, I should put it that way. Long one. It was 3 hours and 45 minutes. So we'll be bringing that to you once again on a replay at Thursday at 1:30 p.m. and then again next week at 6 p.m. So if you want to tune in at those times, you're certainly welcome to do so. So welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, nice to have you back. And very busy meeting yesterday.
Yes.
It definitely was. And I know you brought along some things you'd like to go over, and we'll talk about those. And I know one of the things you want to talk about is the bus situation as well.
Yeah, I'll go over a little bit about what happened. We had a good meeting yesterday. It was the attendance was a little bit lower than normal, but we had a lot of participation, which was good. And very civil. It was a good meeting all around.
Yeah,
very nice. We were good with that. Some of the issues, I kind of go through some of the issues that we covered. We talked about the specific plan, which is ongoing, has been since '06. The city is doing that, and it's still going. Since January 1, there's been some new things the state came out with, that new requirements that have to be done, so those are all being dealt with. We went along and we extended the gate hours at gates 12 and 16 by an hour. So if there's things that are going on, they're going to be a lot later in the evening.
Right, especially this time of the year.
Exactly,
Yeah,
it can be accommodated, and there'll be
Yeah.
a $50 fee for that, for any event that's going on to cover whatever expenses there are.
Okay.
So that was
All
good. One of the issues that's been ongoing for a while also is the RV lot rules. We've had a little problem with commercial vehicles. People who have vehicles they use commercially, or even taxi cabs or that type of thing, parking on the streets overnight. So
yeah, yesterday you remember you mentioned that. You said sometimes you'll just see a very large pickup truck, but you can tell it's used for commercial. It'll have the steel beams on it to carry plywood or whatever.
Exactly,
it is. Yeah.
and so now security set it up to where now they can be parked in the RV lot, in Lot B. So that way they'll be accommodated there.
All right, very good. So there's spaces in there?
Yes, there are. I believe there's like 30 or 40 extra spaces in there, and they've been set up just for this.
And they will pay whatever
They'll pay the $160 a year like everybody else.
Okay, great, which is actually a great rate.
It's a bargain.
Yeah.
It's a real bargain.
That's what you pay for 1 month in the outside world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had landscape had a policy change on the tree signage, putting signs on trees. So they took care of that. Also, we talked about there's I think everybody knows that on the 13th of June there's going to be a recall election.
Right.
For GRF, 2 members of GRF, the president and the secretary. I'm sorry, the treasurer. We talked a little bit about that. We had our attorney there, and because we wanted everybody to be on the same page and make sure we have everything right. We talked about election dates and applications if the recall is successful, on the application dates, when they'll be put in, when they're due in for people who want to be appointed or run for it. So that went well.
Okay.
We were glad to have our attorney there to explain it, because sometimes those things get a little convoluted and...
Right, they do.
Yeah, so she did a really good job of explaining it to everybody, so that was really good.
And I should mention that we plan to televise that meeting.
Yes.
On the 13th.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that happened was kind of a surprise to all of us, was that we were informed, normally corporate meetings, corporate members can vote with proxies. Well, we were informed that they came across this, that we are not to be using proxies.
Okay.
The civil code does not allow that. So that was kind of a new twist for all of us.
Yeah, because that's
we've been doing it
for
so long.
Right.
So they said, well, regardless of how long you've been doing it, you can't do it.
So how will that change affect things?
Well, we vote as delegates, not as members, because we represent a weighted vote. So delegates cannot vote by proxies. It's right in the code.
Okay.
So now you'll either have to be there in person to vote, or you can do it telephonically with a telephone and a fax, or possibly, we don't know yet, possibly telephone and email.
Okay. So that's really the only change.
That's the only change, and you need to be part of the meeting.
Okay.
You have to be heard, and you have to be able to hear what's going on.
Okay. All right. So, now, will it still be for the corporate members meeting a weighted vote?
Yes.
So that, really the
That
essence
won't
hasn't
change.
changed.
Exactly.
Okay. all right.
Exactly. So, anyway, some good news. We received from the city $529,000. GRF did for as a result of the Moulton Parkway widening and the netting and the annex portion of the garden center. So that was a plus for us.
So is that, some of that money go to reimburse the cost of the netting and things like that? And
No,
and the
the
land that was taken?
No, actually, that money, since it was garden center related,
Right.
that money will go towards Garden Center 3.
Okay, and I know you guys talked about
Right
that
into that,
yesterday.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a good lick for us.
Do you have a time frame for Garden Center 3 yet?
Garden Center 3 is over on the 23 acres. And that's part of the property that is involved in a specific plan. So the plans we have for that right now, in fact, we went ahead and approved, we approved a consultant to come in and start the pre-planning of Garden Center 3. So, but that's as far as we can go. We cannot break ground until the specific plan is done.
Right.
The only-
Obviously, there'll be grading and things
Oh,
like that.
absolutely.
It'll have
The
to
only
be
place we
yeah.
could do anything is Gate 12 because it's not in the plan. in the
Okay.
specific plan.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And that'll be welcomed. We have a lot
It'll
of
be very
gardeners
welcome.
here.
That's why we're wanting to kind of get a head start on it. And,
Yeah.
the city has agreed that go ahead and do as much as you can.
So maybe by next spring,
Hopefully.
maybe.
Hopefully.
That would
yeah,
be nice.
We're working towards that. We also talked about the AEDs, the automatic external defibrillators.
Right.
And basically what we wanted to do was just talk about, did the board want to go ahead and have staff do a subject report on what's available now, new ones. And that was it. So they're going to go ahead and do that since we had that mishap with Director Klein here
Right.
some time back. So a lot of this kind of came to the forefront again. And I think it's a viable thing to be looking into.
Oh, yeah.
It really
without
is.
question.
Yeah.
You see more and more of those everywhere now.
Yeah, so we'll be moving forward on that
Yeah,
also.
I think that's a very good thing.
The buses. The buses, we had, of course, everybody knows we had two fires, quite close together to one another as far as in time. We had an investigator come in from Florida to come and look at the buses to determine, number one, where did the fire start and why?
Was it an investigator from the manufacturer?
No, this
Okay.
is an independent who, this is what he does.
Okay.
Supposedly is supposed to be one of the best in the country.
Okay.
So I think he was there last Thursday. I think they've determined where they started, but they're still working on where it came from.
Okay.
Or why, I should say. And of course, you know, the insurance companies get involved in this stuff, so they're going to be duking it out for a while. So
Right.
So we'll just
And it
have
was
to-
the same, we have several makes of the buses. This was the same make
same
and
make
model?
of bus, the same engine and chassis. The bodies were different, but
Okay.
But yeah, basically the same engine and chassis.
All right. So
Yeah.
that's obviously, like you said, the insurance companies look at it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get in touch with the manufacturer,
Yeah.
obviously, see if
Yeah.
there's, they've had problems in the past with these
Yeah.
engines and things.
And we've
Yeah.
had a new schedule for buses, as everybody knows,
Right.
you know, and it seems to be working well. We, you know, we had a closed session meeting to determine how we were going to work this, and I got to tell you, I was so proud of our board. We came together, and it was really nice to see the board work together for a common cause for the residents. So it really showed the, you know, the concern the board has for the residents' welfare and safety.
Yeah,
So it was good. They came up with
exactly.
some good ideas, and staff did an excellent job of implementing it, and Ralph and his crew over there are just doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
it's been going really well, you know.
It seems like the whole thing with all levels was handled
Exactly.
as best as it could, considering
Very
the
much so.
situation.
Very much
and
so.
fortunately, no one was hurt.
Exactly.
That's the main thing.
So hopefully
bus
we'll
can
learn
be
a lot from
replaced.
this. Yes. The other thing was the ad hoc committee meeting report. A lot of people are concerned about or wanting to know about the destructive testing we did
Right.
on that building. That report was given at our last ad hoc meeting, and so I believe it was televised. No, it was taped.
It was taped.
It was
that's right.
taped. But we didn't have the numbers yet. So those numbers are due out tomorrow.
Okay.
So we should have the numbers on what the hidden costs are going to be, and also an estimate of what it would cost to remodel Clubhouse too.
Okay.
Given those
So you
hidden
have
costs.
both those.
So we
Okay.
have both. So it's a way for us to go ahead and compare, apples to apples, and are we going to build a new one, or are we going to fix the old one? So I think this is the big issue. And one other thing I wanted to make the point, there was sort of some misconception about a lot of residents thought that we cannot remodel Clubhouse 2. We can remodel Clubhouse 2.
Right.
We can. We can remodel anything if we want to pay for it.
Right, exactly.
This is not about a matter of can we do it, it's should we do it, and should we bear the cost of doing it. So that's hopefully those things will be answered here.
All right, very
by
good.
tomorrow or so. So other than that, it went really well. We, as you know, we lifted the moratorium on the TV6.
Right, that's why you're here
That's
today.
why I'm here today. I'm sorry that if it ever inconvenienced anybody or anything, but the intent was to kind of take care of a problem we had in the media policy. And our legal counsel said the best way to rectify this was until you get your policy like you want it, just have it to where nobody goes on. That way there's no
Right.
finger pointing and everything, and it wasn't meant to punish anybody, or, it was a problem we had to get it fixed. Hopefully it's fixed, and everybody will be back to where we were. And it was interesting yesterday about the freedom of speech issue, that our council told us that there never was a freedom of speech issue here. It's if anybody ever wants to come on this program here, on TV6 or an ad in the newspaper, if you want to pay for your time and pay for your ad, you can do that.
Right.
Nobody has ever been barred from this program here or on TV6.
Right, exactly.
So as long as you want to pay for the time. So that's been the big difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully we're back to where we were before, and the new media policy will work well for everybody, and whoever comes on TV will be respectful of it, and use it as it was intended to be used.
You're right, exactly.
So hopefully that's where we'll be. So anyway, the other big thing was our energy committee, LED lights. Seems to be the rage. I don't think you have any here, maybe.
Well, I
Probably
think
will.
one day we would like to change all these out for LED.
Yeah.
The energy cost would be
unbelievable.
substantially
Yeah.
lower, and it would be cooler in here.
Exactly.
It's and the costs are coming down.
Costs
so
are coming down.
You got to reach that, what you would call parity, where you can
That's
see
right.
it's worth doing that, where the cost savings.
Right now, they're looking at
getting there.
Clubhouse
Yeah.
5 parking lot. And they've got a couple of vendors that are going to come in and install some lights at no charge, so that the committee can go over there at night and see them, see how they
Yeah.
are, see the colors, whatever. And also, I think they're asking for a subject report for the second floor of this building to convert it over to LED lighting.
Oh, very good.
So I think that we're making some good strides, in
Yeah.
that area. 'Cause this
It
would
can be a little difficult, even if you go to Home Depot, because there's so many brands and so many varieties and shapes. You can no longer just compare one thing to the other like you used to buy.
Yeah.
That's a 60 watt, that's a 100
Yeah,
watt.
exactly.
It's far more complicated.
Yeah.
I think it'll all come into line, but
Right.
the costs are really dramatically coming down. Yeah.
The other thing, I have one last thing, and I wanted to pump this up a little bit.
Sure.
The article that came out in the Orange County Register,
Yes, yes.
it was great. We had a great response from that article. And more so, the 60 Minutes
The segment
that was done there. I mentioned yesterday in our meeting that staff notified me that we normally get 600 or 700 hits every Monday morning when Heather comes in and does her thing. And on Monday morning, this last Monday morning, we had 4,364 hits.
Huge.
It was huge. It was just unbelievable. And the interesting part was that 86% of those hits were first timers.
Yeah, that's incredible. And we should,
Incredible.
when it comes to the article in the Globe, Jennifer Carmarker worked on that. There was someone else, and I
Yes.
apologize, I forget the other co-author of that and the
Yes.
photographer and all.
Right.
But they did a great job.
Yeah, it was a real shot in the arm for the community.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased to see that. So
Yeah, that
all
was
in all,
very
it was a
nice.
good meeting. Was very respectful, and we were glad it went the way it did.
Well, very good. So again, you want to watch that meeting Thursday at 1:30, and then next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, runs 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Very good.
Thank you very much. It's good
Thank
to see you
you.
again.
Good
All
to
right,
see
you take
you.
care.
Okay.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Important announcement.
The Laguna Woods Village bus schedules have been modified to allow additional safety procedures. Following 2 fires on the village buses, in an abundance of caution and to ensure rider safety, the GRF board authorized conducting additional important safety and inspection procedures. The village buses are temporarily operating on a 1-hour alternating schedule. Routes 1 through 5 will depart Clubhouse 1 at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. Routes 6 through 12 will depart Clubhouse 1 at 10 a.m., noon, 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. This schedule will apply 7 days a week until further notice. The B-Bus, Plan-A-Ride, and Lyft buses will continue to operate as usual. For more information, please contact the Transportation Department at 949-597-4659.